2024 annual report of the Social Economic Council of St. Martin highlights a year of renewed operational capacity, following significant challenges related to the appointment of its board. The board resumed in August 2024, and that resumptions characterized the resumptions of CEL's full operational capacity and revitalized dedication to serving government, parliament, and specifically the people of St. Martin. The active advisory role of the SER, the latter half of the 2024 year witnessed the SERs actively and diligently worked on several crucial and advisory requests submitted by government and parliament. Shortly, I will go into those advices that we completed during this board term. The key focus areas for the SER over the past year has been its major advisory activities and key focus areas for the council, including economic diversification, labor market development, environmental sustainability, and social inclusion. During the term 2024 as well, the SER actively collaborated with stakeholders within the region and internationally. The SER fostered strong relations ties through introductory visits to counterparts SER Aruba, Curaçao, to encourage shared learning and mutual support. The emphasis for this support is that throughout the region, the Dutch Caribbean, some of the challenges faced by each island are also faced by our counterparts in Aruba and Curaçao, is also faced by St. Martin. So our efforts to collaborate with our counterparts in Aruba and Curaçao is crucial. An important introductory meeting visit was made to the SER Netherlands on the 6th of December 2024 to reaffirm the enduring collaborative spirit between councils. In addition to that, on September 23rd, 2024, the SER actively engaged with the Parliament of St. Martin through an orientation meeting to clearly articulate its crucial role in country's democratic process. One of the core challenges, I think, and legislative initiatives I would like to highlight based on the activities over the past year. One of the challenges faced by the SER during this current term and the previous term was the appointment delays. The appointment delays pretty much give significant challenges faced the delay in appointments. For instance, the decree to appoint the chairman took approximately 5 months. That, Madam Chair, lady, pretty much indicates that some advice that was prepared and worked on by the SER took some time prior to them being completed and submitted to the respected stakeholder that requested advice on those initiatives. I think it's important to mention, Madam Chair, and to the members of Parliament, for the SER, it is important to avoid future hiatuses for the advisory process. It is hoped that the government expedites a piece of legislation that was submitted on November 26th of 2024, where its passage will avoid the possibility of hiatuses in which the council totaled 32 months over the past 2 terms. I would like to proceed and move forward. Over the period since the SER's existence, the Social Economic Council of St. Martin has submitted 63 advices to both government and parliament. 13 were unsolicited advices and 50 were solicited advices. On May 2026, I think May 2026 marks the 15th anniversary of the Social Economic Council. I think it is important for us to highlight this and also indicate that since its inception, the SER has played a crucial role in its advisory function to the country and the people of St. Martin. As I mentioned, the inactivity of 16 months from April 2023 to August 2024 due to an impasse between the former Minister of General Affairs and the employers' organization led to several delays in the operations. And that not only affected the advisory process, but also the process to have the SER as the Secretariat advise adequately and function as it is legislated. I think it's important, prior to me ending this introduction, to emphasize the aspect of the role of the SER and also the initiative of the SER over the past year to draft a piece of legislation submitted to government, as I mentioned previously, to really address the appointment of members and substitute members by law to avoid any hiatuses or any issues as it pertains to the appointment of members.
To questions posed by MP Roseberg. MP Roseberg stated, Mr. Chair, through you, that she understands that it will be a basic right for consumers of St. Martin to have a bank account, but what she's seeing is that the banks are still able to deny a person a bank account. So how does the legislation reconcile the bank's authority over who they accept as a client and the individual's right to a bank account? How can the government guarantee that in practice, everyone will indeed have access to a bank account? Mr. Chair, through you, this legislation ensures that individuals who normally cannot meet the requirements to open a bank account are given the opportunity to access a basic payment account. Research by the CBCS and Stats has shown the challenges these persons face. The ordinance addresses them by simplifying the process. Under Article 2, the following are required: a valid ID and personal data, contact information, transaction profile. Because the due diligence is simplified, the account itself is also limited to basic services. This way, the risks of misuse for money laundering or fraud are reduced, while still allowing these persons to be included in our financial system. Importantly, accounts must be opened within 10 working days of a complete application, unless refusal grounds apply. These grounds are narrowly defined. No genuine link to St. Martin or already holding a local account. And finally, if an institution wrongly refuses, the applicant has the right to file a complaint or appeal to the court of first instance. In short, this legislation opens the door to financial inclusion while safeguarding the system against abuse. Next question. As it relates to persons who have been convicted, their bank accounts have been closed and they have been prevented from opening a new account because banks share this information. So these persons continue to be excluded from society. How will the government play a role in preventing this discrimination? Through you, Mr. Chair, Article 3 of the draft ordinance explains when a bank may refuse to open a basic payment account, and Article 5 explains when a bank may close one. In the original version, there was a clause that allowed a bank to refuse or close an account if the person has been convicted within the last 8 years of such crimes such as fraud, forgery, or money laundering. However, since people who already have regular bank accounts are already covered under existing laws that address these same offenses, applying this rule only to people who want a basic payment account would have been unfair and unequal treatment. For that reason, these clauses were removed through a note of amendment, which deletes them from Article 3 and 5. This amendment has now been officially submitted to Parliament for consideration. Next question. Is there an alternative solution for persons who have been convicted? The MP noticed that this stipulates that for a period of 8 years, these individuals will not have access to a basic bank account. How will they be able to function in society? What does the government intend to do to address this issue? Through you, Mr. Chair, reference is made to the answer on the previous question, concluding a note of unwising has been sent to Parliament, taking out a clause limiting access specifically to a basic payment account. Next question. For business owners that are not able to open a bank account, are they able to open a consumer account under this legislation? Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, as individual consumers, they may open the basic payment account insofar as they comply with the requirements and eligibility criteria. Next question. Concerning the consumers' protection legislation, what is the position of the Minister of Finance? Is the Ministry of Finance collaborating with the Ministry of TIAT in order to establish an entity that will have oversight authority? Consumenten Bescherming. Through you, Mr. Chairman. Article 4 of the Draft National Ordinance, Basic Payment Account, provides a complaint procedure and the right for consumers to appeal to the Court of First Instance. In addition, several related draft ordinances will soon be sent to Parliament. The Draft National Ordinance Supervision of Payment Service Providers includes a licensing system for anyone operating professionally as a payment service provider in or from St. Martin. It complements the existing banking and credit system ordinance and focuses on services that facilitate cashless payments such as online purchases. The draft National Ordinance Supervision of Virtual Asset Service Providers includes a similar licensing system for providers of virtual assets. This is necessary to manage AML, CTF risks, and to ensure compliance with international FATF standards. Finally, the draft ordinance on oversight of payment and security systems and on the supervision of FMI system administrators will also be submitted to Parliament shortly. These will give the central bank the authority to issue guidelines on matters such as bank charges and transparency, as indicated in my previous answer. The aim of most is growth. So what happens if someone is promoted and makes more than the 3,000 guilders? Does having a basic bank account facilitate their transition into regular accounts as their situation evolves? Or is it that they would no longer qualify to maintain a basic bank account, so the account will be used and they have to reapply for a regular account separately, starting from scratch? Through you, Mr. Chair, the Honorable Through you, Mr. Chair, it is stated that if someone is being promoted, please be informed that any individual who is employed and can provide proof of a source of income, even if it is below the 3,000, may open a regular bank account, provided that they meet the other applicable requirements. However, when focusing solely on the income threshold, the central bank has clarified that if the 3,000 limit on the basic bank account is exceeded, incidentally, this should not pose a problem. However, if the individual consistently exceeds this amount, the individual no longer meets the criteria for holding a basic payment account. The account should be closed. In such cases, reference can be made to Article 5, Paragraph 1, Sub F of the draft ordinance. It may also be the case that the individual has obtained permanent employment or has demonstrated over a longer period that they meet other criteria needed to open a regular bank account. In that case, the individual may transition into a regular account.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com. SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, comm programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
St. Martin, as heavy rain falls across our region, we urge all residents and visitors to exercise caution and stay alert. Here are the areas prone to street flooding, flash floods, and/or rock slides. Avoid these locations until water levels subside. Atillage Road Roundabout, Cul-de-Sac. Arch Road, Sucker Garden. Beacon Hill Road, Simpson Bay. Atillage Road, Border Monument, Belvedere, Lower Princess Quarter. Billy Folly Road, Coal Bay. Emma Plain, Phillipsburg. L.B. Scott Road, Cul-de-Sac. Rhine Road, Lowlands. Welcalican Road, Low K Roundabout, Cahill, Little Bay. Well Road, Wellington Road, and Orange Grove Road, Coal Bay. Yancho Rousquin Boulevard, Point Blanche, and Sakersgut Road, Cul-de-Sac. Remember, safety comes first. Let's work together to keep our community safe. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Department of Communication.
Firstly, I would like to thank MP Irian for coming with an amendment because it looked like that start amendment campaign. The reason why I say that is because months ago when the government came here to Parliament so that the public can understand, there was no intention to amend anything. Everything was just set and ready for approval. So I'm glad that my colleague was able to spark some minds to get the amendments going. Which brings me to my next point, Mr. Chairman. I remember vividly on September 17th when we had to have the meeting at 11 a.m. At 10:49 a.m., an amendment was sent by the government in terms of wanting to address certain things. We couldn't continue the meeting, and since then it has been delay and delay and delay, and I'm sure that the public can read and see how much meetings we have pending, which I've been talking about for quite some time now. To delve right into it, I also noticed that an amendment that was submitted, I think it was 2 days ago, by MP Westcott, is basically an amendment of a point that was sent from MP Irian's amendment, where the central bank gave feedback, and that was amended by MP Westcott into, I think it was Lit 2, Article 2. I would like to know through you, Mr. Chairman, to the Minister, was your amendment reviewed by Yezet and Way, and is it included? Because I don't see it here reflected in the documentation. Can that be provided, please? Also, was your amendment, as how MP Irian amendment was sent to the central bank by your person, through you, Mr. Chairman, for the feedback in terms of their views on it, was your amendment also sent to the central bank? Because I also don't see that included in documentation. I think that that is very important for us to be able to have a clear understanding as to what we're here approving today, or potentially approving and or disapproving. So I think that all the cards need to be on the table in order for us to be able to have a holistic view of what is taking place. For now, I'll regress. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, we are dealing with the basic bank account law, and let it be stated that this particular draft law came to Parliament in December of 2023, so before this minister took office. That's to show you the continuity of a draft law. So, but just for the record, let that be stated. So back to the minister and her answers. Mr. Chairman, through you, the minister indicated that matters such as, it's not the only one, but matters such as whether the basic bank account holder would be able to, for example, make withdrawals abroad, that will be determined at the practical application of the law. And so my question is it the intention of the law that be possible or not? So is it that then, I want to understand that answer. So we don't know yet whether, for the different institutions, such as the banks, whether the basic bank account holder would or would not be able to. So we have to wait until, per financial institution, you end up abroad and then say, oh, I can't now, I'm abroad, but I can't make a payment from St. Martin to Curacao, for example. So that's my question. Is that what we're awaiting? And what is the intention of the law where that is concerned? That it happens or that it can't happen? I hope the minister understands my question. Again, to be determined, and it was used, this terminology was used in more than one instance, and it is to be determined at the practical application of the law. So again, is it the intention that it happens or not? Mr. Chairman, the minister mentioned, and she also outlined several draft laws which are underway, and a few of them were mentioned by name. Question to be clarified. Are those mentioned by name all that are currently in the pipeline regarding this matter in general? Bank accounts, overview, supervision, etc. So, and if that be the case, if the minister could give us a listing of the draft legislation which is in the pipeline, so to speak. I would like to see that delineated, and I know I concur that the minister has mentioned them at different points in her answers.
I had a question in regards to the study that was done. It was mentioned that 78% of the respondents on St. Martin, that based on the study, the financial inclusion is the 3,000 should be sufficient. What I would like to know is what would be the consequence if that would change? Has this amount already been agreed upon with the different banks on St. Martin? And is there, has it been decided that it has to be gelijkluidend with Curacao, so that the 3,000 should be across the board? Also seeing that the law has been passed there already, so what would be the consequence if changes would be made? So those are my questions in regards to making that change. If that change would be made, what the consequences would be.
Minister, thank you for the answers and the clarification. Minister, in regards to the position of the government, because we saw or heard the position of the central bank, but what is the position of the government on the legislation given? Typically, even when we have budget debates, et cetera, the ministers give the position on the motions and the law itself. And what I'm missing here is the position of the government. What is the government position on the legislation? And like point article for article, because then as the person that wrote the legislation, then it could also be addressed. So the feedback from government and the feedback from central bank, the amendment, yes, would be could be amended to reflect the concerns of either government and or the central bank. And listening to your presentation, because I heard you repeating or saying the point of the central bank, but those points also, and that's why I really want the government's position, because those points were contradicted in your latest statements on basically your own position. So to me, if the government is coming and, let's say, given the position of the central bank, is that yours? Because, for example, you said the central bank talks about, sorry, through you, Mr. Chairman, the central bank talks about fairness and going digital, for example. And a key point that you, the minister made was it may be unfair for smaller banks that cannot go digital, all right? I don't know any bank in St. Martin that does not have digital services besides Postpad, but I think this amendment addresses that, because you also state our St. Martin digital economy is expanding. We need and must prepare for a digital world. We have to prepare businesses for a digital economy. All of your final statements were saying basically exactly what I said in my amendment. So if the central bank's position is one way, but the government position is another, then we have a conflict already. So I really need to hear what the government position is going over. For example, in my amendment, I stated that all the activities that the bank has in a physical form needs to be available in the digital form.
Members of the media, listening and viewing audience, on behalf of the Department of Community Development, Family and Humanitarian Affairs, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to our press conference so that we can share information about our upcoming Just for Dads and Men Masterclass, which is starting on Saturday, November 1st and runs until Saturday, December 6th, which is every Saturday except November 15th from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. I am joined today by a number of the facilitators who will give you a very quick teaser with regards to the masterclass that they will be delivering. On my left, I am joined by Reverend Professor Courtney Richards, and then to my immediate right, I am joined by Dr. Nolan Nanton, and then to my far right, I am joined by Mr. Dimar Labega. But before I ask them to provide a brief summary of their masterclass, I just want to really urge the dads and men to make a special attempt to sign up and to attend the master classes. The first master class starts, as I said earlier, on Saturday, November 1st from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m., and it will take place at the University of St. Martin in room 206, right? The topic will be navigating manhood and masculinity in the 21st century. And of course, you will get more information about that masterclass.
As a clinical psychologist myself, I think I could affirm that there's at least most of us, probably 90% of us, are significantly wounded, and most of the time is by our fathers. When you look at dropout rates in school, when you look at underperformance by boys, when you look at prison populations, the 15 to 25 age group, particularly commit most of the crimes. And when you interview those same boys and men in prisons and in incarceration, they don't have a good relationship with their father. So even if there's not a causation, there's a correlation. And so we want to look at that. What is the father wound? How is it manifested? What are the symptoms of it? And how do we help people heal from father wounds themselves so that they can resist and prevent the passing on of their symptoms, their anger, which is a huge thing in the Caribbean, and other related things to their children, and of course to their spouses, their wives, partners, what have you.
We are living in a society where the family is greatly disrupted in many ways, and sometimes we have persons who are engaged in relationship, and then those relationships end, and they might have children who are involved. How do we go about parenting those children? Sometimes the toxicity of the relationship dominate the parenting process and affect the child quite negatively. You leave the child sometimes confused as to where to go and who to be with, at what time to be with who. So sometimes children have birthdays and they say, wow, we don't want any birthday party this year. Not because they don't want it, but because they don't want to see the parents fighting or coming in the same space, which might result in them arguing or sometimes fighting. Some persons, they can't control their emotions because it is so strong because of the disappointment and the manner in which the relationship may end. Of course, we have those that have ended and quite cordially they are dealing with things in a mature way, but we have seen an escalation in the parenting process of persons who are separated and have to parent children, and the demise it really brings within it. So I'm going to be continuing that, sharing tips and hints as to how we go about making sure that we act maturely and we see the interest and benefit of the child in the process, and hopefully the thoughts and the recommendation that will be shared would be able to guide persons within that. I deal primarily with families, and I've seen a lot of families who were able to navigate themselves, having come to some of the things that are going to be shared. So it's co-parenting strategies, and we're looking forward to coming and sharing with you. And I know that if you're present, you're going to receive a serious blessing.
Andy Malabega here. Extremely privileged to be a part of this second annual event given by the department. We have a panel of great guests, so I myself look forward to taking part in all of their classes. I'm going to round off the end of it on December 6th, Mr. Monster Factory. I'll be giving the physical activity portion. Now, we're encouraging everyone to come out. A lot of times when you hear physical activity, you think, I haven't worked out in a long time, am I going to be able to participate? But I assure you, it's not going to be anything strenuous. We're going to have lots of fun. We're going to be doing team building. We're going to be doing the competitive nature of working out, as well as bonding with other like-minded individuals. A lot of times when I do my sporting events, you see the majority of the female population. So we're encouraging all guys to come out. Let's round it off strong. Health is wealth. Let's lead our families. Let's lead our communities. Let's set the example, not only with the mindset training that we're going to get the first month, but let's also round it off with the physical activity and then continue that physical activity. Events like this are good to come out because now you get to mingle with like-minded people. You continue the journey. You hold yourself accountable. So we look forward to the whole community coming out and participating in not only my event, but all the events.
And then on Saturday, November 8th, Mr. Richards will be delivering a masterclass on father wounds. And I want to put an asterisk here because the first two sessions will be taking place at the University of St. Martin in room 206. However, the other sessions will be taking place at the government building, conference rooms 1 and 2, and the time remains the same. And then we have on November 22nd, there will be the masterclass on co-parenting strategies, which will be delivered by Reverend Dr. Nolan Nanton. And then the 29th of November, we will be looking at cultivating healthy romantic relationships by Mr. Alston Lawrence. And I must also insert that there will be a masterclass on the rights and responsibilities of fathers, and that will be delivered by Mr. Marciano Geert. Unfortunately, he is abroad. Well, not unfortunately, but he is abroad. That's why he could not be in attendance. And his session would also be on the 29th of November.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah, your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com. SXM Daily News.
think I can unsee what I've seen. About 70% of the island is without electricity or running water. These people are homeless. They have no roof over their heads. There's children. The stench started to happen from the water. In some cases, they're told that bodies are in homes that they can't reach to, on the rubbles. So it's rough. I must say there's a lot of aid coming in. The thing with us that was good is that we actually shot in real quick and got it and got to the people.
I'll come to the aid, the assistance you've been taking in and what you've experienced, but in terms of what you just described, because you've been there in previous hurricanes, you sound, though, shocked by what you've actually seen in recent days.
Yeah, well, I was there for Gilbert, which was a Category 3, and I saw the devastation and the damage that Gilbert did. When a Category 5 is coming, I couldn't imagine what that would be like. So I was prepared from before, and I got a plane loaded up and, was ready as soon as the airport opened up. I got in. The thing is, even though there are huge aids coming in, it's going to take a minute for them to actually put them into care packages and put them into large trucks to get down there. Those roads are all messed up, to get those large containers and things in. So, us going in smaller vehicles, going into the community was something that was smart on our part to really get in there and get them water and get them food really quickly. And, so that's what we have continued to go. But yeah, no one can expect what a Category 5 is. It's never been seen before. So this is a first, and the government is doing everything they can and going really hard, but nobody really could prepare for something like that.
I'm trying to keep positive, after, days and days of communication and trying to help out in different ways, on Saturday I broke down. It's like just the amount of energy it takes, and the depression that starts to set in. And then, you have to shake yourself out of it because there's just so much to be done that we haven't even tipped the iceberg yet, So for everyone that, wants to help, for everyone that has, have had a love for our culture in Jamaica, the best thing or the fastest way to get help to the people on the ground in Ground Zero right now, which is West Jamaica, the entire West was trashed. You can go to foodforthepoor.org. foodforthepoorja.org. This is a reputable institution or organization that's been doing this for over 30 years, getting help to people who need it. It is overwhelming. I myself took a drive to the country yesterday, countryside of St. Mary, which was not hit as hard, but still hit, and they don't have light yet. And a lot of people out there can't even see the rest of what's happening because once they get charged on their phone, they're just trying to call loved ones to make sure that they're okay.